Hey guys, Danny Johnson here, and today we're changing the rear brakes on this Mazda 6. If you go into the car, you're going to be able to find where the frame support's coming through here for the subframe. It's kind of hard to see under the plastic, so just make sure you're on that. And you can also lift on the pinch weld if you want, and we'll definitely put a jack there, just kind of as an extra safety. Now, next we'll remove the lug nuts and remove the wheel. And so now this is the brake disc here, and then sometimes there's a little plastic piece. This might just be for the aftermarket wheels. Next, under the hood, we're going to remove the brake reservoir cap for the brake master cylinder. Now, we're doing pads only, but I will show you the bracket here has a 14mm bolt. There's two of them. There's one on the top here, and then one at the bottom that removes the whole bracket off. So if you are doing new rotors as well, then you'll take those two out. It's just the two 14mm bolts, and then the whole bracket comes off. Now, even with that though, you will have to disassemble it further like this. And we're going to come in here and we're going to use a 13mm wrench for this. And what you're going to notice though is as you break this loose, the whole nut's going to spin on the other side, if you saw that. So we're going to get some vice grips to lock that nut in place, and now we'll be able to remove the 13mm bolt. Okay, we're going to do that on the bottom as well for the caliper. And next, the top part of the caliper pulls right away, and the bracket is going to stay in place. So we'll just go ahead and pull that out. And I like to have a 5-gallon bucket to set that on. So here's our brake parts disc. And you can see this one has 3 teeth on it. If you rent them at the auto store, sometimes they don't have this one. I had to order this one, very similar. But anyway, you can see there's 3 little notches that lock into the caliper. And so next you're going to put this together like so. And as you reach in here, you'll see it will lock into those 3 spots. And now you can twist it. And as you twist it, it should be compressing that piston back up in, and that's why it's important to have that cap off of the brake master cylinder so the fluid can go backwards in the lines. Now, in addition to twisting that piston back in, there's also this piece here, so you slide it up over the handle and it will lock into the bottom part of this. And so now as you unthread this, and there's a right hand and a left hand, so left hand would be the driver's side and then right hand would be the passenger side, for American cars at least. And so what you're going to do is spin this out, and so now we have that plate pushing on the inside of the caliper here, and it's going to put pressure outward and help spread that out. So we're going to go ahead and rotate, and then you can even use a wrench. This is a 7/8 inch wrench to help push that piston in. But you want to do a combination of twisting the caliper and then for the piston to go in, and then also tightening that bracket back out so that it works in the opposite direction. So then you'll be able to loosen the tool, and you can see that our piston has been compressed back in. And again, we had to twist it. It didn't just push straight in. And now we have our bracket here, and we're going to go ahead and just put the new pads right on. And so they just go right into place like so. Just make sure you're on the right side and they're not in backwards. And so then we're going to put a little bit of grease on these on the back side as well, where the caliper pinches them. So anyway, that's how easy it is to put these little guys in. We're just going to take some grease now, some high temperature grease, and put it on the back side, and that way as the caliper compresses, it doesn't make any squeaking noises. So just make sure you're putting the grease on the proper side. You don't want it where it's actually touching the brake disc or the brake pads, of course. And so next we're going to go ahead and just set this back down in here and put in our 13mm bolts. And we're going to have to do basically the same thing. Make sure you have Loctite on these. We're going to have to put the vice grip here to hold the nut in place, and now with our 13mm socket we can tighten these back down. So that's pretty much all there is to it. Just make sure that it goes on tight, and that's how you'll change the rear brakes on the Mazda 6. So just replace the wheel and torque down to about 80 to 90 foot-pounds for the lug nuts, and then go under the hood again and put the cap back on the brake master cylinder reservoir. Make sure that that fluid level hasn't dropped down. If it did, you need to add a little bit more fluid. Make sure that now as you pump the brakes that the fluid level is high enough that it doesn't suck air down into that. After that, just put the car back down on the ground and test the brakes. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks for watching.